Hi there, my name is Lo. Welcome to my channel where I discuss everything between Hermes and grocery bags. Today we are talking about the Furla Metropolis Mini. The Furla Metropolis Mini is, or perhaps the Furla Metropolis in general, is one of the most well-known styles of bags from the brand Furla. Furla is an Italian brand that has been founded in 1927 and is perhaps nowadays one of the most well-known or popular, I'm not really sure, but at least well-known and fairly popular contemporary brands around. So yeah, as I was already saying, the Metropolis is perhaps the most well-known style of bag that this fashion house or that this brand produces, and I have 3 of them, so I figured I'd discuss them with you today because they're all fairly different in style. So right here I have what I will call the Metropolis Original. This is the new one, and this is the round one. I think these bags are pretty much always made of leather. Perhaps they have some exceptions of where they are making this bag with fabrics or something. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll see if I can find an example of that. So let's kick it off today, do a little mini comparison, see what fits in this bag, go through some pros and cons, and tell you if I would recommend this bag or if I would recommend one style more than the other. So let's start with the original. This is in a smooth leather. As you can see, it is very, very white. It has white hardware on the front, but it has gold hardware and a gold chain on the side. I'll show you that in a bit as I go to the inside of this bag. The width of this bag is 17 centimeters. The height of this bag is 13 centimeters and the depth is 8 centimeters. It has feet on the bottom. These square ones have feet on the bottom. This round one doesn't, which is perhaps not that surprising. It has this push clasp to open it. It also has no exterior pockets, none of them do. This original one comes with a chain. This chain is detachable. It is not adjustable also because there is no clasp on this chain. It's basically this type of mechanism where you put it through the hole and then hope that it will stay in. It is a very, very cool chain, but I think it would have been nicer if they had made some clasp and D-ring mechanism on this bag, so you could use this chain for more purposes and it would also be easier to put another chain on it. The chain length is 126 centimeters, which is about 94.5 inches, which might seem pretty long, but actually if you wear this one crossbody, it's not all that bad. And obviously I will insert some mud shots for you as we go through this discussion, so you can see how it looks on my frame. And I'm about 1.70 meters or 5'5" for reference, and usually a size large. On the inside there is this fabric lining and it has a slip pocket on the back where I'm keeping the care cards. This is the original. Onto the new style, which is perhaps more similar than I figured, but I have this one in more of a textured leather and this is completely smooth, so they look quite different to me. But again, snap closure on the front, feet on the bottom, no external pockets. This one comes with a very different chain though. This one is not detachable, unfortunately, but it is somewhat adjustable, so you'll have about this size to make adjustments. Let's measure this to 114 centimeters or about 45 inches, and it's on the semi-longest setting, so you can make it a little bit longer, but mostly just shorter. So as you can see, this strap consists half, well, not even half of it is chain, but about 1/3 of it is chain, which is something that might be fun to wear on the front of your body, or perhaps you don't like it all that much and you prefer to wear it on the back. And the rest of the strap is just made of leather. Let's briefly look at the inside, which is, well, black for this one, but it's also the same as the original. So the only internal pocket that you have here is this slip pocket on the back, which is about the full width of the bag. This bag has the same dimensions as the original one. As you can see, they are really pretty much the same. And then finally, this round one, as I already said, this one doesn't have feet. We'll would be a bit funny if it had feet, being a round bag. Again, the closure on the front and no external pockets. And not to forget the dimensions of this bag. The width of this one is 19 centimeters, the height is 16 centimeters, and the depth is 8 centimeters. So just a bit bigger than the square ones, as you can also kind of see if you put them side to side. But because you have the round shape, you will also lose some space there, of course. Let's open this one up. And because this is also the new edition. So they actually also have the round one of the original, which I'll pop a picture up of in the screen. But well, that one I don't have because I already have 3 of these bags. And as I will tell you a bit more in a bit, I'm not even such a big fan of this bag. So I'm definitely not getting a 4th one. This one has kind of grayish fabric interior and also a slit pocket, which is not the full width of the bag, but that again makes sense because this is a round bag. I forgot to say initially, by the way, but all of these bags have a suede lining on the flap, or perhaps it's just the back of the leather. Here you have it in black, and here you also have it in a gray, which is somewhat different than the white one over here. Let's talk about what fits in these bags, and I'll demonstrate with the original one because it's in the white, so it will probably be easier to see, and with this blue one because the black one is the same in terms of dimensions as the white one. As the name already states, this is a mini bag, so this is definitely not a bag that is going to fit my whole pouch with all of my junk, but let's see what out of the pouch we can fit in these bags. We'll also show you how a phone fits in here, because this is my Samsung Galaxy Z Flip. This is a phone that is kind of easy, but I will show you that actually these don't really nicely hold a full-size smartphone. So here I'm trying to fit in my phone, and as you can see, this is not really a good fit. We can put it in on the diagonal, but that's generally not how I want to fit my phone. It is not like with the Loewe Nano puzzle bag that it's like a definitely no, this is not going to fit. If you have a bit of a smaller phone, then that will probably work well. But if you have a bigger phone like an iPhone Pro or Max or whatever these things are called nowadays, I think it will be kind of difficult to squeeze this in, even though the bottom technically is 17 centimeters. Yeah, I think if you measure on the outside of this bag, that technically, well, it's barely 17 centimeters, and that's really just the outside fabric that makes it wider than the actual capacity of this bag. So this is a bag that will only fit like a smaller phone, and definitely not a bigger phone. But okay, let's not ruin it. I'm going to fold my phone and pop it in. That works nicely. Card holder that I'm using right now. It's a bit of a smaller one than last one I showed you, but I decided to get rid of some cards, earbuds, box of mints, keys, lip balm, and a hand balm. All of these essentials for, I don't know, running out to the supermarket or just going away for a couple of hours and you don't need a water bottle or anything. For that, this bag is fine, but it's really a downside that it doesn't really fit a bigger size phone. If it would have just been a bit bigger, then it would have been fine, but I don't know, perhaps also when they came out with this bag, and I'm not really sure when they did, but this has already been on the market for years. Perhaps it was tailored to phones still being a bit smaller. I'm not really sure. They also have this in a medium size, but that is again similar to with the Chloe Hanna bag, that then it's really sizing up quite significantly. And if you just want to have a small crossbody bag for essentials that I will use quite often for just running out for a few hours, then I would prefer to have something like this. But yeah, it should hold a phone ideally, and I'm quite disappointed that it doesn't. Let's do the phone test again with this one. Because this should be a bit larger. So here it will actually fit your phone without too much funny business, distortion business going on. Of course, it cannot really go all the way to the bottom of the bag because of the roundness of it, but this will actually fit a somewhat bigger phone. We put in the other stuff, headphones, card holder, hand balm, some mints, lip balm, keys. Well, would still, I guess, prefer to just fold up my phone in this one. Let's say this can also still fit a packet of tissues. So this round one definitely has a bit more capacity and a bit more space when it comes to fitting your phone. So let's talk pros about this bag. Honestly, this is, especially if you go for these square ones, it is a very classic bag. It is a style that is, well, as I was already saying, one of the most well-known. I think it's pretty timeless. There's a lot of variations to choose out of, so both the round or the square, but especially the square. It's just a very classic flat bag, and it's the type of bag that you cannot really go wrong with. I would perhaps recommend that you go with the new version of this bag because it has this partially leather strap. I've seen YouTube videos about this original one where people are saying that even though the strap is beautiful and this is really gorgeous, I think this is one of the nicest types of straps, chain straps at least, I've had on a bag, but because it's a full chain strap, it can get a bit uncomfortable. Plus, it is also only one size. Obviously, if you want to make it shorter, you could go as far as to sort of, well, I don't think I would ever tie a knot in a chain strap. It's perhaps not a very good idea if you still want to get it out, but you could just find a way, perhaps with a little piece of thread, to tie it together and make the strap a bit shorter. But overall, I don't think that the length is all that bad on this one. But yeah, if you go for the leather strap, you have something that is a bit more comfortable and that's also somewhat more adjustable in length. The downside being with the leather strap that you cannot take it off completely. So there's no way to do anything different in terms of strap with this bag. Well, with this one you could still get a little bit creative. It is a very nice material. The craftsmanship is really quite good on this bag, honestly. It is not super expensive, plus you can usually find them with a discount if you're looking out for them. I also quite like the opening on this bag. So we have this push mechanism, which makes it really easy to open the bag. Yes, it may be a bit more difficult to close, but usually the hooks on the closure will actually find the openings pretty well themselves. You can push the flap of the bag to close it. And there's also this little piece of leather that if you are struggling a bit more with closing it, it will also help you to put it shut. I like that the clasp is actually on the side of this hardware and not on the top. Because of that, you will only experience perhaps some scratching over here, but it won't be very noticeable, opposed to with a push-up Matisse, for example, where I think you are closing it here on the top. So if you're trying to close it, you really are shoveling the hardware over itself, which I can imagine will lead to more scratching. Then moving on to the cons. Well, there's a number of things I could name, like the strap not being detachable, perhaps being a bit uncomfortable when it comes to the chain strap that comes with this one. The size, that it's too small to fit a phone, a lack of versatility because this is only a crossbody bag. It doesn't have external pockets, for example. These are all just very practical cons, and yes, they are cons to some people, but honestly I have numerous bags that are indeed either not that big, not that versatile, don't have any external pockets, and I wouldn't really complain about those. So I think it also wouldn't be very fair to complain about those for this particular style of bag. The reason I cannot be super positive about it is because I just don't love this style right now. These bags are beautifully made, but they are very structured, they're pretty classic, and to me they don't really have anything like quirky or super interesting about them. Perhaps if I would have gotten them in a more interesting, like a print or something, because they do make those, perhaps then they would have been more interesting to me. But I don't really like bags with prints because I find them more difficult to style. So for now, there's really not all that much that is appealing to me in these bags, and that's why I just don't really gravitate towards them. And it's kind of strange because I did like them at some point. I liked them so much that I got multiples of them. I guess also because I just once again pulled in by how nicely this is actually made and how stylish and how classic they are. And that's also why I'm sort of afraid to let them go, I mean, technically I could sell them, and if I would want to rebuy them, I would probably not really lose a lot of money over them. But I'm kind of scared that I might really like them again in the future and that I would regret that I've let them go. Even though I'm not really enthusiastic about them, don't let my lack of enthusiasm deter you from buying this bag. If you like it, I would say go for it, because it's a nicely crafted and timeless piece at a reasonable price point. And especially if you're just starting out with your collection, or you are looking for a bag that is a bit less concerning to you because it's at a lower price point, and especially this grained leather, it really seems quite durable as well, then this is definitely one to look into. So yeah, with that I've also already kind of given my recommendation. If you are into this type of bag, very much one I could recommend. For me, I cannot really put my finger on it, but they are just not all that appealing to me. Which is also weird, because I do have this Michael Kors bag. I think this is the Michael Kors Leia. And this one I actually do use once in a while. Also very nice grained leather. It's a bit softer, but I just for some reason like this braided detailing at the top. And this one does have an external pocket. So if I need to choose a bag like this that is somewhat similar in style, I will usually just opt for this one. It's also just a little bit bigger. I don't know what it is. Perhaps these Furla Metropolis bags are just not it for me at this point in time, while this just meets the criteria of it being it for me, but that really shouldn't deter anybody from looking into this bag. So that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed it and or found it useful. If you have any questions for me, drop them down below in the comments and I'll get back to you. For now, remember, there's a styling, a situation, and a taste for everything, and these are just not my taste at this point in time, but these are gorgeous bags. So don't judge, wear whatever the bag you like. Until next time, or as we would say in Dutch, doei!